The reason why we ended up on the blanket protest was because the British sought to criminalise the Republican struggle against British rule in Ireland. We saw ourselves in the front line of that struggle. And recently I was doing a research project looking at the torture and the treatment of the prisoners during the protest years on the blanket and the protest in Armagh. And we were interviewing all sorts of different prisoners about their treatment, about the brutality, the searches, the horrendous life that we had in the jails for that 4 or 5 years. And as part of it all, we interviewed a number of prison governors. And one of the guys really summed the blanket protest and that whole period up in a way that I hadn't been able to until then. And what this guy said was, this guy was a governor in the jails. He was originally a governor in the H blocks. Or sorry, he was originally a governor in the cages of Long Kesh when we had political status. And then the prison authorities moved him down as a governor of the H blocks. And he ended up, he threw the towel and he left. He says because of the treatment that was being meted out to the prisoners by the officers under his command, believe it or not. He wasn't able to stop them from doing what they were doing. The screws who were involved in torturing us. What he said was, he blamed the British government, and what he said was, and he wrote a letter to the British government as to why he was resigning from the prison service. And he said the reason he was doing it was because the British government decided to bring the war from the streets into the jails. And that's why he resigned from the prison service. And the thing about it is, that is exactly what was happening with the protest. And ultimately, that's what happened with the hunger strike. That the British brought the war from the streets and they brought it into the jails. We saw ourselves in jail on the front line, in the front line struggle against the Brits. And, you know, at times, you got to think back till the late 70s and right up until 1981. Because the IRA were out trying to wage a war, and it was almost like we were a distraction for the IRA, or some volunteers I've spoken to since that. This is the way they felt, that they were being asked, instead of targeting the British Army, which was our primary target, they were ending up having to go hunting for some of the prison warders who were involved in various brutalities and torture and what have you. And as well as that, instead of the war being the centre of attention, the prison protest was the centre of attention at times. But ultimately, with the hunger strike, with the deaths of our 10 comrades, that ended up changing the whole situation in the north, changed the position of the movement in the south as well, and it changed the perception of the Republican struggle right across the world. Because for us, it was always about getting rid of the British, ending the connection with Britain. The Brits tried to pretend that it was an internal problem. The hunger strike blew that out of the water. And throughout, right across the world, you know, people understood the importance of the hunger strike. They understood for the first time what the struggle for the youngsters, for the young people who are growing up, and all those children who have yet to be born. And we have a responsibility to give them a new vision, a new Ireland, an Ireland that they can be proud of, north and south, east and west. And for yourselves, folks, I think it's very, very important. You people have to find a role in helping us achieve that. He's helped us during the war years. He's helped us during the hard slog and all the rest of it. He's had to help us now to forge a new country, a new republic that we can be proud of, and that will act as the epitaph for the 10 hunger strikers who we're commemorating here today, folks. Gurmi Lamar.